Here we go.
All right, and testing, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2. Oh, everything appears to be working, huh? Let's see. And we're green and all across the boards. All right, let's begin. I will actually have to have you read a little bit of the author's notes so I can actually get some water, but I will do the intro. Hello, everyone. It's 7 o'clock. It's a Friday, and I'm Sneaky Devil, which means this is Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9001. Welcome back to episode 2 of the new year, where we will get right on into the thick of it, after, of course, mentioning do not harass or otherwise contact any of the people we show on this show, unless those people specifically say you can, which 99.99% of the time they don't, so we don't want to get in trouble, you don't want to get in trouble, no one wants to get in trouble.
Or,
Hopefully.
be bad human beings.
It doesn't really matter too much. It's more about the trouble aspect.
I'm trying to present us as good, reasonably good people. You don't help.
Reasonably good people, you realize what kind of show you're on.
I try, okay? I try.
No, get the fuck out.
Oh, does that mean I don't have to work tonight? Awesome.
Nope, that means you're not getting any money tonight. How about that?
Ah, crap.
Okay,
Yeah,
anyway,
you don't give money anyway.
Alright, so to start this day off right, we're gonna be doing a Harry Potter Naruto crossover. Can your friends do this? As always, the links will be dropped in the description if you are watching this tomorrow, or later, of course. Or if you want to get a live feed, head on down to the Discord found below. Anyway, Atin, take it away. I need to get me some liquids.
My apologies about that, folks. So he decided that he needs to go take care of his booze problem. So I'm going to have to read to you people, and I know just how much you all love that. Sumi Yuki's ain't never had a friend like me prompt. Oh god, we're starting with a prompt. Oh boy. MOD Harry is sealed inside a genie bottle and tossed into the veil. Only the interference of death stops her from being enslaved. When Naruto comes into possession of the bottle and frees Harry from her prison, she gets attached and decides to help him, changing everything we know. Author's note, Hair Kakashi Naru Sasu, deal with it.
So,
oh boy.
Yeah.
Bear with me, folks.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, God.
Yeah, this is gay porn, in case anyone was curious. We will stop it if we get into the gay porn aspect of it, but it was just so cringy, I had to put it up at minimum. You know what I mean? You feel where I'm coming from?
I understand what you're saying. Just first off, you're starting with a prompt, and here's the thing. Writing prompts can be a wonderful, amazing thing, but rarely are they so in fan fiction. Like, for instance, r/writing prompts. It's a great place to go. Wonderful stories there. Of course, yes. To be fair, that subreddit in particular always upvotes the most upvoted post is always appearing at the top, so you only ever see the best in there. So, to be fair, I am biased.
Indeed. Bias is indeed a thing that is occurring. Alright, now that I've bothered the other Discords that I'm in, I'm going to continue on from here.
Why are you bothering other Discords?
Because I can. I'm telling them all that
you are a terrible person.
Anyway, so, female hair...
Since Max will not be here, do we want to pull in nose hair?
If he's up for it, we'll take guest stars if they're up for it.
Alright, I'll get nose hair in here.
Anyway, as I was, saying, I looked at your shitpost, why?
What? Oh, the one I made?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I told you what it was.
That you did.
Are we streaming like right now?
Yeah, no,
Yes,
no, Ricky.
you're live.
You're
right
not
now.
live at all. Feel free to, I don't know.
I gotta ask, okay?
Okay. Anyway, so this is going to be a female Harry, and Master of Death Harry. Oh.
And for some reason, it's a Naru Sasuke.
And for some reason,
Which is honestly the least of the problems going into this.
yeah, actually,
I immediately want to leave.
And no. Only interference from death stops her from being enslaved. Why would she be enslaved? I guess because they're turning her into a genie?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
When Naruto becomes into possession and frees Harry, she gets attached to him and decides to help him, changing everything we know. So I guess...
Oh, this is just literally just putting the genie from Aladdin as a different character and then just putting it in...
You know, maybe, I have no idea, we haven't even read this. Blah, 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 this is Tumblr. Prompt, female Harry, she ages but can die from injuries, sealed into a lamp. Blah, 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 taking this in another direction, hope springs eternal, femme, Harry, Kakashi, romance is not the centerpiece. Romance is not the centerpiece, but I've advertised the romance of Harry times Kakashi and Naruto times Sasuke in the frickin' summary.
And it's tagged Adventure Romance.
Romance isn't the centerpiece. Carrot.jpg.
Oh,
Romance
good!
with
Look at this! They don't
Romance
have a beta!
Romance with a genie. I shall grant you 3 wishes. I want to have sex with you.
No, I can't grant that wish. Can't or won't.
Yes, the greatest
There will be
Shantae.
heterosexual and homosexual pairings in this. You have been warned.
Whoa, hold on. You're skipping some stuff.
Yeah, I know.
You're
I'm skipping
skipping.
some stuff. I want to die already. Anyway,
Can't
so
die.
here's the prompt. Blah, blah, blah. You're a genie. Uzumaki. 10 minutes. Streets of Konoha. Where blah, blah, blah. Someone threw a lamp at him. He found it. He ran home. He cleaned off the lamp. Harry came out of the lamp. Blah, blah, blah. A young woman stared at him, bemused. Awesome. You know what? That is exactly the kind of reaction I would have if I was trapped in a lamp after being betrayed and trapped in a lamp. That's exactly the kind. That's the exact kind of emotions I would feel upon being released by a 12-year-old. Is, oh man, isn't this a funny situation?
All right. First of all, I want to point out something. A massive logical problem with this story.
Well, okay, beyond the obvious logical problems with this story.
No. Within the context of the story itself.
Okay, go ahead.
Someone threw this lamp at him.
Right.
They threw the lamp at him.
Right.
That's not how genies work.
At some point, they've had to pick this lamp up.
Right.
And do something that would constitute a rubbing motion. Now, it's possible that they used their 3 wishes and then decided to throw it. But if you know that it's a lamp and that it has 3 wishes, why would you throw it at someone you hate?
I think what the author is implying is that Harry gets thrown through the veil, and then the veil just opens up and chucks the bottle right at Naruto. Like, no one touches it before that. And it's just Naruto thinks someone threw it at him. Because no one would be like, I've been hit in the head with a lamp. Ah, I bet that appeared out of thin air. You know?
Okay, fair enough.
Again, like I said,
that is indeed
that is the logical leaps that I'm making from what the author has said in both the summary and in the prompt. That's the leaps I'm making. Now, I might be entirely wrong. I'm probably not. because the author probably didn't think that far. And so I'm giving them far more credit than they deserve. Hello, Isaac! Yes. Welcome to Twitch.
Welcome to hell.
Oh, well, glad you showed up over here now. That just means it's one less chat for me to keep track of.
Well,
Harry Potter has somehow been
before.
turned into a female and is also a genie.
Yep, Harry Potter is a genie, female, and in the Narutoverse.
All of these things have occurred.
Yep.
Essentially, it's taking the genie prompt from Aladdin and then just butchering it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah.
Now, here's
Harry
my question.
Yeah?
What? How is Harry going to romance Kakashi?
Well,
because
wait
the problem
for it.
with this is
wait for it.
Harry's in a lamp.
Wait for it. Harry glared at the people in front of her. If it wasn't one thing, it was another. She was always needed to be the sacrifice, and she blah blah blah, blame blah blah blah. Harry had been targeted, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. She wouldn't forgive these people. She wasn't gonna forgive or forget. Blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Exoneration. Everyone would kiss her ass, and then the whole thing would repeat, blah, blah, blah. I could take care of them at any moment you wish me to. She rolled her eyes, not looking in the direction of death. Blah, blah, blah. Harry was not the sort to stoop to another's level unless given provocation. Death did not always have to be the answer to everything. False. Death is, in fact, the answer to everything?
The question is, can I kill them?
Yes.
The answer is death. Death to everyone.
The answer is
apparently
the answer is exterminatus.
Exterminatus.
Exterminatus!
Indeed. Anyway,
on
blah,
a bad
blah,
day,
blah,
exterminatus.
blah, 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 blah. Ministry was dodgy, blah, blah, blah. Death would mean nothing, blah, blah, blah. 43 years since she became the mistress of death. So she's, what?
50-something?
60.
50... Oh, yeah, 60, you're right, yeah. Yeah, because Harry didn't become the Master of Death until the end of the book, so yeah.
Blah, 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 yet... She had yet to make use of the deadly abilities to kill people. Really. In 43 years, she had never killed someone using the abilities of death. I'm kind of calling bullshit on that. Like, it's one thing to be like, oh, you know, they lived a quiet life afterwards and never needed to use death's abilities. But the author made it sound like, literally, the books were just the prelude to the rest of their life. In terms of the action-adventure. Which, to be fair, is believable. However, the point is, Harry Potter in the books got into a shit ton of stuff that was gonna kill him until ass-pull bullshit saved his life. And I'm gonna call bullshit that the ass-pull bullshit that saved Harry's life stopped after he left school. Yes, she's a god as well. I could totally make them suffer. Death continues, a smirk lacing their tone. Oh man, edgy teenager death, that's what we wanted.
Alright, so listen, as soon as we're done with this band of edgy teenagers, I think you know what we need to do.
Read a Ruby story?
No. Put on the banner.
Oh.
What did you just drink?
Oh. Whew. Okay. Vodka. Duh.
How can you still react that way? This is like your 10th week of drinking straight.
And?
I'm just saying, you should be used to the burn by now.
I will never be used to the burn. It makes me feel alive.
Alright there, Emperor Scythe Space Marines, calm down.
Blah, blah, blah. They didn't understand death. Blah, 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 blah. Wizards age slower. Blah, 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 blah. Harry looked young even though she was 60. And blah, 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 blah. She would be forever 21 years old as if she was frozen in time. She just aged slower, 2 times slower than a magical human. So what? Her estimated age will be around 300 years old when she dies of old age?
Hey, guess what? Noah lived longer.
Blah, 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 blah. She sold her soul. Eternal youth. She had her soul still, so that was dropped. Blah, blah, blah. Rumors. Blah, blah, blah. Dumb rumors. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Apparently, Death is some sort of, like, edgy teen who's like, oh man, just come on, kill them all. You don't have to suffer through this, kill them all. Kill them all, Kylo Ren. Kill them all.
Yes, indeed. My personal favorite incarnation of Death is... Technically, they aren't Death yet, but it's the Grim Reaper's son from Soul Eater. Because the idea of Death being not an edgy teen, just the world's most OCD-obsessed nut is... It's endlessly amusing.
Okay, so Isley, to break it down for you, this is female Harry Potter, therefore, for some reason, the name must be butchered to have an I in it. Yeah. Harry Potter.
You know what? Why can't you guys just be like, Jessica? Her name is Jessica. Like, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, honestly, I can't see, a mother being like, yeah, I'm not okay with Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Perfect.
You know what most self-respecting parents would do? They'd say, you know what? That's a guy's name. We'll call her Jessica.
Well, I mean, not even that. If you want to follow naming conventions, like Rose or something, you know?
Yeah. Like, much better options.
Yes, it's because of the Sharingan. Nailed it, Isley. 10 out of 10.
I'm tempted to ban you for that terrible joke. Tempted to, but I will not abuse my power in this way.
Nailed it. Perfect. Well, now we have to read Ruby stories. We already had some puns.
Don't you even start.
Start, but we're already going.
We'll do Ruby last, to keep Arn from whining too much.
Indeed. Harry was quick to end her connections with the goblins after the goblins was insulted by the minister? Wait, what?
What?
Several scans that she was still a light witch. She sued a bunch of people. Harry was quick to end her connection with the goblins after her goblin lawyer was gravely insulted by the minister. She removed everything from the bank because she knew that anger was kindled and refused to have anything of her within Gringotts when the goblins decided on another war. Let me get this straight. Leader of country insults a member of another country. You, fearing that country will be insulted by the insult, decides that they're going to start a war over it and decides to remove everything from your vault with that country and cut all relations with them in preparation for the war you probably just caused by insulting them more than the previous insult. Okay, so Isley, the first chapter is basically going to be the reason why Harry ends up in a genie bottle and thrown into the Narutoverse. Right now, we are currently in the Harry Potterverse. I feel like we've covered this story before, but I guess not.
I don't think we have. We might have covered it, like, with just ourselves.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, so, blah, 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 riches, they all went into trunks, blah, 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 goblins did, declare war, and, killed everyone that was close to her.
Despite the fact that A, the goblins have a pretty much no military to speak of, and B, they have a much more effective weapon to hold over the entire wizarding world, and they know it. They run the banks.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, yeah, anyway.
The goblins have never been stupid in the Harry Potter universe.
No.
They run the banks, and they know they run the banks.
Yeah.
They would say, apologize, or we'll just close all the vaults.
But we'll just start finding you. Yeah. Point being, this is dumb. Because, okay, Ron, Percy, and Neville all die in the first battle. Why were they battling?
Neither Ron, nor Percy, nor Neville would have anything to do with that war.
People looked to her to save them, and she felt for the loss of her friends, but she refused to go to war. Finally, it was time for her to get a family. She had no time to go to war. What? What? I don't care about the war going on. I just want me some family.
Of course, flawless.
That's perfect logic. 10 out of 10, 90 out of 90. Nailed it like a hammer. Yeah. But now that we've scared off more people. Excellent. Blah blah blah. She was accused of being dark again. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. World was sealed. Blah blah blah. You have magic. You don't even need money. You're dependent on gold. You can't see that. She doused people in the water. Blah blah blah. You transfigure. Blah blah blah. You let yourselves be hopeless because you let yourselves be hopeless. Blah 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 blah. We're sending. Really? Magical Britain forced all the goblins in the world to a warlike state across the world against all other magical communities across the world, and now no one could access their money, and everyone was complaining to Britain.
Well, first of all, you're telling me there weren't people that just went, hey, there might be a war, we should pull our gold out. Also, I'm pretty sure that the first thing the magical governments would do upon finding out that Britain started a war with the goblins would be to seize the goblin banks.
Well, I mean, look. Authors love writing the goblins in hundreds of different ways. Like, they love, oh, they actually have a full-out undercity, and there's a bajillion goblins, actually. And then there's so many ways I've seen the goblins written. And honestly, what confuses me the most about this is British guy insults goblin. Not even the goblin leader, just a goblin. The goblins get super offended by that, enough to declare war on the entire world.
Well, no, to be fair, it was the chain of events was Wizarding Britain insults a goblin. British goblins get angry. And then they start a war, and then probably everyone else gets dragged into it. But I do see your point.
Yeah, friggin' Isley friggin' nails it, but it's just like... Why is the rest of the world suffering for Britain being a dick? And the author can't even act like...
To be fair, Sneaky, that's a question that humanity has been asking for a long time.
This is true.
Listen, I'm sorry. I saw my moment. I took it.
Yep. This is true.
I'm sure our German viewers have had to ask that question.
Yes, this is true. But no, seriously, like, why is it like, oh, for some reason, this one insult by the British people, because even though it was displayed in canon that the purebloods basically shit on the goblins every single day.
Like, they walk, they do it routinely when they're giving them their money.
But this one guy insults this one goblin that isn't even their leader, and suddenly it's like, war on the magical world! Really? Really?
Come on. You can do better than that, author.
You're better than this.
I mean, actually, you're not.
No, probably not, honestly.
Displayed, but
this is why you don't do prompts, folks. This is why you don't pick up prompts normally, because if you don't think of the idea yourself, you're gonna churn out shit like this. Now, to be fair, yes, you will see prompts generate an amazing story. Rarely.
The issue here chiefly is the issue is not with a writing prompt. Writing prompts are great ideas and can be awesome.
This is a problem with the author's ability to use it.
I was gonna say, because as we've displayed throughout the course of how many episodes of fanfiction did we watch, or how many fanfictions have we covered on this show? We got to be getting close to like 300 now, right?
Well, we ended around 100 episodes last year, which leaves us at around, I would say around 300-ish, yeah.
Out of the 300 we've shown, we have collectively decided that maybe five of them turned out to actually be good stories that we've continued reading.
Yes.
There were 2 or 3 that we were like, there's nothing inherently wrong with these stories, they just aren't for us.
Yes.
And all the rest have had some variety of problem.
More or less, yes. Pretty much exactly that. I mean, look, I'm not saying like, oh, you shouldn't write because it'll be bad. No, you should write. It's probably going to be bad. But, like, I was talking about this with one of my coworkers a day or two ago. Know your limits. If you're not an amazing, fantabulous author, and you don't want people to go, hey, you're not an amazing, fantabulous author, a good idea would be to stay away from writing prompts. A good idea would be to sit down, plan your first story out, expect it to be shit. Don't be like, oh yeah, my first story is gonna be fucking amazing and people are gonna love it.
No.
Sometimes it can be. Sometimes people have an immense amount of innate skill. You should not rely on being that people.
Like, for instance, while Michael Jordan was obviously a very talented basketball player.
Yeah.
As pretty much all of his life story, it's like, yes, he had some innate skill. But what did it was he worked his ass off.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's how it is for anything.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if that's
overcomes
writing.
Talent every day. Practice will always beat talent. And I'm not saying people shouldn't write something. I'm not saying people shouldn't do X. What I am saying is people should consider the following before doing X. Your first story is likely going to fail. You're likely going to not finish it. You're likely going to look back on it years later and be like, wow, holy shit, this was terrible. Your first story is probably going to be bad. You still have to write it, though. You still have to get down and write it, though. But you also shouldn't slate things not in your favor. Is basically what I'm trying to say. Is you should pick a subject you know and you're A, passionate about. B, do as much research as you need to. C, get someone to look over it. Get a second person to look over it. Like, your first story isn't going to be great. That doesn't give it the excuse for being shit. What does give you the excuse for your story being bad is when you do put the effort in with a subject you know, and you have had people look at it. Like, once you get through all of the effort, if the story still turns out bad, that fault's not on you. You put all the effort you could into that, and that's what turned out.
If you put your best foot forward, then good. You put your best foot forward, and you did the best job that you possibly could. And because this is something people never forget. Even if the final product isn't that great, if you put your best foot forward at it, you can take pride in the knowledge that you personally did your best.
Yeah. And that is even if the message gets a bit misconstrued along the way, that's really what I want people to take away from this. Is don't be this. Don't be these authors that we've seen that in their author's notes they're like, oh, I just thought of this one day and I just thought I had to write it.
Or don't be the ones who say, hey, so I had this funny idea, but I really don't know X about blank. I really don't know anything about X universe, so I'm just going to kind of wing it.
Yeah,
don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Or that girl. Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl.
Do the research. Do the research. Please, do the research. That's what I'm asking for. Do I break my own rule? Sure. But I say, like, I've posted some fanfics before on nonfanfiction.net. But in the author's notes I go, don't expect this to be updated often. It's probably going to be like a shit post tier post. This is just more or less for me to get back into writing. So, like, I preemptively am like, look, don't go into this story being like, oh, this might be the next freaking Huckleberry Finn or something, you know? Yeah,
and
or the people who
even
fudge
all that
giant
considered,
yeah.
You still get people to read your stories.
Yeah,
you still get people to beta for you, and more importantly, you use online tools to double check your spelling and grammar, and you also get betas to do those things.
Yep, I do all those things. Yep, and I mean,
so even if, like you said, the story in and of itself is shitpost.
Yeah,
a bad one at that.
More or less, yeah.
The quality of the writing therein is, you're not going to go through and see the wrong usages of there or there.
Right, yeah, exactly.
You're not going to see misspelled words, probably.
And the reason why I'm pushing this so hard, and the reason why I'm repeating myself so much, and then why I fucking sound like a broken record right now, probably, is because if you've been here for a while, you've seen what I'm talking about. You've seen the stories that are absolute garbage, but the author has been writing for years. The problem there is not that they haven't written enough. The problem there is they never put forth the effort to write better. They just kept writing, and we're like, oh, I'll get better one day. It's not how that works.
If you want to get better at writing a story,
here's an actually important question. Isley says, that reminds me, how would you suggest about getting a beta reader? Well, it depends on... Or join my server, which is in the fucking description down below. Or the panels down below. Because we have a writing corner section, specifically for writing help. I'll probably add a beta section to that writing corner. But, you know, it's... Depending on... If you're looking for a beta on fanfiction.net, for example, there's a whole beta system. Like, there is actually a beta system to get in contact with people willing to beta stories.
Explain to him how that works, huh?
Alright, yeah, sure. Let's pop it on up. Alright, I'm logged in. Betas, right here, top, right here, up here, boom. Betas, boom. See? Let's go with anime. Anime betas. Let's go with, let's see, Naruto anime betas. I swear to God, if there's no, okay, yeah, boom. Naruto betas. Oh, I want an English beta who's willing to beta a supernatural story that's rated M. Boom.
Ta-da!
Now, keep in mind, this is just strictly for fanfiction.net. There's also sufficient velocity in space battles. If you ask, I believe there is a beta thread specifically where you can ask people to beta your story. On AO3, I don't think there's a beta system there, but there's Reddit. I'm pretty sure writing, or the whatever fandom you're writing for probably has their own subreddit where you could probably ask people to beta your work. Yeah, you know. Hello, Calvin.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the point there being, fanfiction.net, for all its flaws.
Fanfiction.net's got a large freaking database of betas. And now, keep in mind, people willing to beta might not even know they have to mark beta on their profile. But if someone marks beta on their profile, it probably means they know what to do as a beta. Because there are betas out there that specifically put themselves out to just be like, oh yeah, I'll beta the story for you, only wants to read the chapter ahead of time. Oh yeah, it's perfect. Don't get that kind of beta. Kill them.
I was going to say, as a matter of fact, most of the time, avoid a beta who likes your story. As a matter of fact, if you can get someone who hates your guts to beta for you, that's probably the best thing you can possibly do.
Boy, you should never let drunk people read your fanfic. It turns from bad to worse. I can't argue with that. Can't argue with that. That burn never gets old. Okay. Okay.
Do I have to call your boss?
Do I have to call your boss? Shit. Anyway, as I was saying, that's a burn. Betas. We finished the topic of betas. Yes, we did.
I mean, I think we pretty much did. We covered everything we wanted to say.
Alright, let's plow on through this story and get the fuck out of here. Alright, blah blah magic, blah blah garden, blah blah preservation, blah 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 blah, blah 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 blah, went into the public eye. Blah blah blah. Wait, what? It was a Parkinson and he wasn't pleasant. His mother filled him with rubbish, wanted to avenge her for what Harry did to their family. He spun tales, their people were easy to manipulate, Harry is now wanted. Just one word and everyone's dead, blah blah blah, edgy death. How do you plead? Blah, blah, blah. Edgy. Wow, look at that 60-year-old being an edgy freaking teenager. It's almost like an edgy freaking teenager wrote this trash. Any recommendations?
Can you dare go look at the author profile?
Okay. So for Worm Isley, to answer your question before we freaking just leave this story because I'm tired of it already. Unless we want to stick around to see how the Kakashi romance happens.
I mean, I guess we could stick around. Like, do we just want to plow on to chapter 2 because we got through this pretty easily?
Dude, we're not even halfway through this.
Oh, sweet lord. All right. You know what? I hate myself. Let's keep going.
Okay, so let me answer the question that Isley is posing.
Yeah.
Isley asks, can I find a good worm beta reader? The best place to find a good worm beta reader is not on Orange server. It's actually on Sufficient Velocity. Generally, you can probably get away with posting your first chapter and then mentioning on Sufficient Velocity where you're posting it. Because honestly, it's not that hard to post to Sufficient Velocity and fanfiction.net. Mention in your author's note on Sufficient Velocity that you're looking for a beta reader. Worm's pretty freaking big on Sufficient Velocity. And I mean Space Battles too, but I dislike Space Battles, so I'm always going to recommend SV over Space Battles. The fanfiction community for Worm's fairly small on fanfiction.net, so Sufficient Velocity or Space Battles is your best bet. Just be like, hey guys, this is my first chapter, it's going to be a bit rough, I'm looking for a beta reader, PM me if interested.
And then bam. That's pretty much all you'll have to do.
And you'll probably get at least 1, 2 to 3 people, depending on what your story is about, who are like, hey, we're interested. There was a game called Worm. Oh, Worm, the 2D tanks game, right?
Oh, that's entirely different. Although I think you might still have a decent amount of luck, but you're gonna want to clarify.
Well, I mean, no,
not just because
not
we're
really.
easily confused.
No, not really. I didn't even remember the game Worm until Calvin mentioned it.
Oh, Calvin mentioned it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, blah blah blah. Shit we don't care about. Oh, Jesus Christ. The auras approached, and Parkinson cast a wild look around. He glared, pulled something from his pockets. Servitudo. Harry Jamal Potter. The object, a bottle, opened with a pop and engulfed Harry. Death's enraged shout told Harry this wasn't good. She could feel herself tingling as the magic changed her. When she opened her eyes, she was in a room with purple pillows swarming in a circle. Oh boy, so it's a stereotypical genie room. Parkinson
I wonder if the
worth.
author just decided to go watch I Dream of Genie before writing this piece of crap.
Probably. Dad, blah blah blah. Mother made him to do a vow to do it. He would need to get to the veil. He would throw it into the veil. Death chamber was cold. What blah blah blah. He threw the bottle into it. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. The ground shook and everyone was blown off their feet as the arch imploded, leaving nothing left. Knowing the vow was completed, he raised the bottle to his lips. He drank in cheer because he did something not the Dark Lord could do. You're a bottle. You've been confined to something. Rubs it. A genie. To stop you from being enslaved, but I can't remove you from the bottle. It was created by a god. Death can't beat gods. I'm calling bullshit. Jenny the Genie. Jenny the Genie. Alright, so I just want to say something. If you're gonna have death be weaker than gods, you gotta have a real freaking good reason for it. Like, oh, death is actually just the god of death and not actually death. So, Hades or something. Because death kills everything. Everything can die.
Also, if you're having it be weaker than gods, sending it into the Naruto universe not a great idea.
Yeah, that's fair enough, too. Blah, blah, blah. I can't blast my way out of this. Blah, blah, blah. You won't be bound to them. You can leave. Well, real ones are terrible because they play innocent. If you wish them free, you take their place. Why did you stop me from being enslaved? You're my mistress. If you're enslaved, then I am too enslaved, and many people are not selfless. She could live with that, another universe.
Okay, hold on a minute.
Blah, blah, blah.
That's not a valid explanation, because Death just spent the first however many paragraphs encouraging Harry to murder everyone.
Yeah, you can't really be like, Death wants to be the sort of ethical, moralistic person that only wants to serve himself and Harry. Death also wants to murder everyone. Huh, that's very
Not just
different.
murder everyone. Encourages Harry. Be like, just let me do it. Let me do it. I'll kill everyone. Not just the people who bug you. I'll kill everyone. All of them. Dead.
Yep. This story needs depth. No problem, here's Death. Get the fuck out, Kelsey. There's no other deaths here. I have servants that collect souls for me. I'm the only death to ever exist. Okay, so Death isn't a god. Death is literally the concept of death, which means he is stronger than a god. You can't be like, oh, well, Death is actually weaker than a god, so he can't do anything, and then be like, oh, nope, Death is the only death to ever exist in death. Every other death is actually a servant to this death. On one side, you have a 100-pound, small, fluffy thing. On the other side, you have a Godzilla. Who will win? The fluffy thing, apparently.
Oh no! It's Godzilla!
If gods are unkillable, he could be beaten by a god. That is true, except for the part where everything will die, and that includes gods.
Even an idea can die.
The thing is, it depends on how you phrase it. But, so, for example, Greek gods. They die when the idea of Greek gods die. So they won't exist anymore. There's no one to believe in them.
Or if you're Kratos.
Or Kratos happens, yeah. It's gods born from the power of the planet. Okay, well, those gods die when the planet dies. Gods born from the energies of the solar system dies when the solar system's gone. Gods born from the primordial chaos of the galaxy die when the heat death of the universe occurs.
Pretty much the only deity that is not vulnerable to death would
Is
be
death.
one like the Christian deity. That was like, listen, I made everything. Nothing existed before I wanted it to.
Even then, death had to exist before that deity. Or well, maybe even simultaneously. As that deity.
Simultaneously, probably. But the point there being, unless it's a deity that literally created the universe and everything in it.
Well, no, even then, that deity could eventually die when it decides to.
Okay, yes, that is a possibility. But then, death, the concept, has nothing to do with that.
Well, no, the death, the concept would have something to do with that, because when the god would conceive them dying, they would then die.
Yes, but I'm saying death in and of itself, in this case, like a
Yes,
primordial
then
force,
at that
has
point,
no power over when that occurs.
Yes, at that point, then you could be like, okay, well then death has no power of that. However, By them using the fact they're goddess, I'm going to assume that they aren't talking about, well, an omnipotent, omnipresent
And I
God
agree
that
with you
created
on that.
everything in
I
creation.
was just saying there is one caveat to what you were saying. Small.
But why would it decide to
Very
die? Because eventually, given enough time, you will do everything every single way. And if you're something that lives for literally infinity, eventually every single possibility will have been done. And then what do? Every single possibility has been done. The only possibility left is the reality in which you don't exist. Yeah, so death out of boredom.
Anyway, the point, this is all a purely academic discussion that serves no actual useful function, because we're trying to distract ourselves from this author's terrible writing.
Yeah, I'll have to go, Now I'm gonna answer Oran's question later about that.
Well, no, I mean, just go ahead and answer it now.
No, it's a personal question dealing with stuff that can't happen yet.
Okay. I'm not going to answer it, he says, clacking frantically
Well, no,
away.
I am gonna answer it to Arn, but I'm not gonna answer it out loud.
Yeah, I understand.
Oh, I'm bored, I kill myself. Basically, yeah. The only thing they wouldn't have experienced at that point is death. So they'll experience death.
Anyway,
point being,
academic, pointless...
Point being, this whole philosophical bullshit rant that we just rolled on in on comes on back to this bullshit of they're trying to say that death is the ultimate death of all deaths that have ever deathed, but at the same time are being blocked by a not omnipotent, created everything ever since the idea that creation could be a thing, God.
On which we are calling shenanigans.
I have figured out your secret, Sneaky. You are a fan of Dark Souls.
That was the secret?
Oh no. I have been found out.
I wasn't aware that was a secret.
Blah blah blah, you still have all my stuff. Can I manipulate someone into letting me out? Yep, called it. I found someone, death announced. Water will come out the top, the boy will want to wipe it off. An orphan, he was assaulted with the bottle, he kept it, was he like, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. It's Naruto's backstory, yet exaggerated. Blah,
hey,
blah,
they can
blah,
bond over
blah.
the imagined backstory about how terrible everything is.
Exactly. Blah, blah, blah. She popped her head. You came out of a fancy bottle, Titabow. She stumbled twice. Blah, blah, blah. A pretty lady came out of my pretty bottle. Naruto cheered in the most retarded fashion possible.
You know, somehow I doubt that's what the author wrote. Call me crazy.
Harry, oh boy! YA alert! Harry looked up, meeting bright blue ocean eyes.
Sieg Heil!
True enough.
No, really,
Yeah.
young adult authors seem to have a fascination with bright blue eyes. It's almost suspicious how uniformly obsessed with bright blue eyes they are.
And blonde hair. Can't forget the blonde hair. What the bloody hell are you wearing? What the bloody hell? The first thing she said, best jumpsuit ever, pretty lady. My name's Harry. No one could ever appreciate the jumpsuit, blah blah blah. Nice to meet you,
Blue
Harry
eyes, white
Nichan.
Nazi. Oh boy, here we go.
You see, you boy, I play my blue eyes, white Nazi. And I polymerize it with the British.
All right. We made our one terrible joke for the day. We're done now.
Blah blah blah. Everyone speaks Japanese in this world, so now you do too.
Wow, how convenient.
I was just saying, I made it so you speak their language. You're welcome. Death was gone, like a small petulant child. So are you? Wow, we're point of view hopping like a goddamn. You know the words.
Yeah, that's right. Swallow it down.
Fill in the
Smart
blank.
boy. You're learning.
No, I'm not learning. I am just.
Drinking. Yes.
Yes. Drinking. That is a good, adequate
What
answer.
What I find remarkable is your inhibition is going up as you drink, which I'm not sure what that says about your normal state of being.
Poor things, probably.
I mean, yes, poor things, obviously.
Alright, and the instability is back. And it's gone. Excellent. Everything's still up. Shit. Okay. Are we good? We good? We're settled?
I think we're good.
Alright, we were dropping to 0 for a second there. Alright. At least Harry doesn't start singing I'm a genie in a bottle. I'm a genie in a bottle! I don't know the rest of the words to that song. So, I'm not gonna sing it.
Also, I want to point out, this author is nowhere near talented enough to use any quote remotely related to Robin Williams, and they need to die.
This is a true enough fact? Yeah, this is a true enough fact.
But to be fair, very few authors are good enough to use any quote from Robin Williams.
This is true
Robin
enough.
Williams was a special human being.
He'd been on the streets of Konoha, not the main street, but that's all the glorious from, blah blah blah, genies living in bottles. The vast majority of his mind, blah blah blah, surprise, blah blah blah, genie, if you're a genie, do I get wishes? He was bouncing.
No, you get no wishes. In fact, I'm gonna turn you into a slave.
No, blah blah blah, guilt, blah blah blah, Aladdin, blah blah blah, there are rules I can't get around, I can't kill anybody so don't ask. He looked horrified, I can't make anyone fall in love with anyone. And I can't bring people back from the dead. Yes, you can! Death interjected, earning themselves a glare. What? I'm just saying, you actually can. That's it. Yes, those are the laws I cannot break. Other than those, some things would be a bit difficult to do, since I can't just create something from nothing. But we'll get back to that later. Okay, Nichan. So where am I? Bubbly blonde, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, backstory, blah blah blah, if you know Naruto you should know this, blah blah blah, how to be ninjas, blah blah blah, assassinations, what are the demands of ninjas, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, compliments, blah blah blah, dialogue where it's pointless fluff back and forth. Blah blah blah. Oh, we're revealing the abuse that Naruto has sustained. Oh wow, no author has ever done this before.
Oh, he's so horrible. Oh no. Oh, I'm so sad. Oh no, it's making me imitate Tommy Wiseau. I'm so sad.
Blah blah blah, I've failed it twice. How old are you? I'm turning 12. I'll be the same age as everyone else. 12-year-olds graduate. Oh, it's shock, horror. Child soldiers are used in basically kind of medieval time, but sort of modern bullshit. Wow, who would have ever thought of teaching children to be soldiers in a world where the life expectancy rate is 20? It's almost like that's realistic.
Even if it is horrible.
I would like to say, though, that it is realistic if your life expectancy is to not even, like, make it to your 30s, to be taught how to kill people by your 12s.
Also,
That
I
is
do
realistic.
want to point out, this is not quite the same as training a child in Africa how to shoot an AK. You're teaching them magic powers.
More or less, yeah. You kind of
They
are. Yeah.
They can confuse people with their mind. Like, realistically speaking, they are far better off. Okay, so they have to.
Honestly,
Maybe they die. Maybe they die.
I am shocked at the level of restraint the ninjas seem to have in Naruto canon.
When dealing with normal people.
Not even that, if you really think about it. You don't see ninja moves get used too often unless you're fighting. And it's like, but there is a shit ton of genjutsu. There's a shit ton of illusions. There's a shit ton of ways to impersonate other people. There's a shit ton of ways, like, there is a lot of ways to absolutely fuck everyone over.
I mean, for crying out loud.
But the ninja world seems to show remarkable restraint.
I mean, A, yes. B, also, to be fair, most of the ninjas, except for the ones that are clearly evil bad people, like, and I mean truly evil bad people, they're like, if they run across, like, Genin, they'll just beat the Genin up and say, go home.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Like, I'm not saying Genin don't die. Obviously, Genin die. But, like, even Zabuza was like, hey, kids, stay out of this, and I won't kill you.
Right. Yeah, no, I'll give you that. If that was any sort of representation of how the rest of the world acted towards certain groups of people, I'll give you that. I mean, that would make sense why Genin so happened to make their way all the way. Oh no, bye, Calvin. It would explain why Genin seemed to make their way to the upper reaches so often and then die.
Even the village hidden in the sand when they were invading didn't kill most of the people. They didn't kill any of the Genin.
Yeah, Isley brings up a fairly good point. I'm reminded of a certain shit fic where all it took to spark the next ninja war was for ninja to put on headbands of another village. And yeah, I mean, there is so many ways for ninja to screw over the entire world by even simple costume change, and yet they don't do it. And while I realize that's more or less because the author wanted to focus purely on Naruto and events happening around Naruto, that still has become the official canon of the ninja world. And so I'm just saying that ninjas apparently show remarkable constraint in that.
Well, it's entirely possible that all of the ninjas got together, and there's essentially the list of unwritten ninja rules. Like, look, don't go into the gambling hall and use genjutsu. Like, just don't do it, okay? It's a bad idea, and you will get caught eventually, and it's just going to cause problems for everybody.
Anyway.
But yeah, like I said, and Sneaky's right. They do show a truly amazing amount of restraint. All of which, to my point being,
yeah,
get over yourself.
Also, I would just like to point out that ninjas who apparently can enhance their strength and agility and speed using chakra, apparently don't wear armor. Even though it's really silly.
No, they all wear flak vests.
Well, I mean, yes, but that doesn't stop their arms from being chopped off and shit.
I was making a shit joke.
Yeah, I'm aware you were making a joke, but that's actually my point, though. It's just like, oh, even though our battles basically often end with dismemberment of the opponent, we're not actually going to wear anything that prevents dismemberment of the opponent, or myself.
Yeah, I was going to say, because realistically speaking, like, that is the only way to safely disable another ninja. Take their hands.
Yeah, so it's just like, you know...
It's like if you're dealing with a magic catcher in D&D. What's the safest way to keep them from casting spells? Cut out their tongue. That removes their ability to cast 90% of the spells.
Well, not quite. I mean,
No, really. Most spells have a verbal component, and if you're looking to
but
really
you can meta magic
take their hands
feat
too.
okay, yeah, there you go. I was gonna say you can meta magic feat your way out of needing a vocal component, but back to the story. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah, dejected, blah blah blah, he failed the clone jutsu, blah blah blah, was given detention, so I was never told how to fix that. Blah 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 blah.
Also, I understand the author's trying to be like, look at this, Naruto and Harry both had terrible lives and they can bond. But let's be real here. In the Naruto story itself, there's an explanation as to why he doesn't know any of this, and that's because he's a stupid fucking kid who spends his time doing stupid pranks.
Honestly, that's another problem I've really had with Naruto. It's just like, alright, so it's a stupid kid who spends a bunch of time on his pranks. But apparently all the adults, like the fucking Hokage himself is just like, oh, it's just Naruto being Naruto. I'm not gonna be like, hey, Naruto, you know what would make a really great ninja? Reading a fucking book.
You know what would let you fulfill your dream of becoming Hokage and maybe get people in the village to respect you?
Reading a book, not playing pranks on them. Like, holy
not
shit.
Not defacing the village monument. Like, that's a good start.
There is so many things that Hokage or any sort of adult figure in Naruto's life could have said to Naruto, be like, hey, Naruto, I know you want to be Hokage, so you know how you be Hokage? You read a shit ton and you know everything. Oh man, reading's boring and shit, but if that's how I become Hokage, believe it, I'll do it. My point makes itself.
Or like
Naruto canon is dumb.
Heaven forbid Iruka, who's like, yes, I want to take care of Naruto like I'm a father. Well, you do a pretty crappy job, don't you?
I mean, it's not even that. It's just like straight up, literally anyone could have done it. And when authors are like, oh, well, Naruto's got such a terrible, awful life, and everyone abuses him, and no one believes him on anything. And so then he goes into the library and reads a single book, and now he's super strong. Come on. I've read a lot of Naruto stories. Mostly because Naruto stories are the most prevalent right after, and then Harry Potter comes right after, in terms of fandoms I know, and fandoms that have enough update rate to actually, like, find new stories of. And so I read a lot of Naruto stories. And very, very rarely does the author ever sit down and be like, there's gotta be a difference between Genin and Chunin and Jonin. I mean, a lot of Naruto stories, and this is talking about general power creep in general, so you can almost apply this across the board. But this is Naruto specific. I will go on this little tiny rant, and then we'll actually like finish this frickin' story so we can move the hell on. I see a lot of authors have this major problem with power creep in Naruto, in that they write it like Naruto is suddenly gaining all this power because it's not even usually like shadow clones. It's usually just like, oh, Naruto is reading books, and then he has this brilliant idea to do X thing, and suddenly he's like at a times 100 weights because the new seal that gets stronger over time to compensate for him getting stronger. Okay, fine, whatever, but you gotta keep in mind. I mean, okay, yes, Harry Potter has more fics, but Naruto has more fics I'm willing to read. You gotta keep in mind, a majority of Harry Potter stories are remove the romance. Like, actually remove romance, remove angst, and remove hurt. And then compare the stories. But I'm actually pretty sure Naruto still falls short on that one. Anyway, point being, I check the Naruto section more often. Because even with Harry Potter, you end up with fans who do a very strict mindset of books 1 through 7. I gotta hit those 3 books. I gotta hit 3 books. Holy shit! I gotta hit all 7 of those books, or somehow circumvent them by killing Voldemort earlier. And so you more or less always end up with Harry in the exact same situations, just winning them through different situations, through different powers. With Naruto, I've seen far more variation in terms of how Naruto and the direction it goes operates. I've seen fics that go wildly off course and stay off course because they butterfly effects and whatnot, and they're good. I mean, unfortunately, most of them are dead now, but they were good before they died. But that's what I mean. You get my idea. Power creep. Back to the power creep idea. You have less problem in Harry Potter with the whole power creep thing, but you do kind of have to learn how to balance it correctly, because in canon, for some reason, freaking a bunch of school students who hadn't even been practicing overly much until the 6th or 7th year with Dumbledore's army thing.
Yeah,
had been practicing overly much with their magic, but somehow were able to be on par with Death Eaters, who were supposed to be super evil assholes who had been living in the magical world for decades, because they were all in their 40s and 50s and shit. And so they've been using magic for literally decades more than Harry Potter and crew have. But for some reason, Harry Potter and crew could match them spell for spell, even though they were only using shit like Stupefy, Protegro, and Expelloramus. Look, J.K. Rowling handled the power creep in a fucking awful way of just ignoring it. Even though these people were supposed to be, even if they were decadent, they're supposed to be evil. They're supposed to know, and they used spells like blood boiling and bone shattering and organ rotting and body exploding curses. But for some reason, their aim was shit. They were slow at casting them. And it's okay, sure. Maybe not everyone's top tier, super fast cast rate, unlimited stamina, or whatever the fuck is used to cast spells in the Harry Potterverse, and level of magic. Maybe a lot of people are just average level shit tier, but they know pretty terrible spells that will kill someone if they get used. Okay, fine. That still doesn't give the excuse why a fucking entire school full of children are capable of beating them. Using only shit like Stupefy, which is stun, or Protegro, which is protect, or
stuff that oh yeah, I learned that back in school. Let me show you what real magic is, scrub.
Yeah. Yes, the main character effect. I realize that. Yeah, I realize they aren't the athletics, but I understand that. but it's like there should be in Harry Potter there should be a power disparity. In Naruto, early on in Naruto, the authors, Kishimoto, but other people like contributed to it. But Kishimoto is the main author and the main final say at the beginning, at least. They did show power disparity. They showed how outclassed Genin were versus Jonin, both in the Kakashi training arc and the Zabuza arc after that. But they kind of forgot that scale around the time the Chunin arc actually happened. Because, even though if they had, Orochimaru playing with them, it was still freaking the goddamn, one-tailed demon creature shows up. And the only fucking person who goes out to even fight it is Naruto. Which I understand, look, the Jinchuriki, fight the Jinchuriki. But it's still Jonin, bro. The guy you're freaking fighting is a Chunin at best. Just kill him.
Like guys, I'm sorry, but you can see Gaara up there. Just
you
jump up there and stab him.
I realize you have ample opportunity. I realize you're busy fighting other Jonin and shit. But if it's okay, I as a Jonin will trade my life to kill their freaking basically what amounts to a nuclear bomb. That's a trade a ninja would do realistically in the verse that was set up. But that doesn't happen. For some reason, everyone's I'm not gonna fight Gaara because reasons. And then Naruto is the one that has to show up and save the day. I realize that's main character effect, but I'm just saying that power creep in Naruto was shown well, and the power disparity was shown well early on. But a lot of people and a lot of authors don't notice it. Don't write it. They have freaking Naruto being because I trained for a whole month before I met Kakashi, I'm suddenly on Kakashi's level.
Yeah, or for instance, is Dry a massive pervert? Yes, but he's also one of the strongest ninja in the world. The reason that Naruto can start going toe to toe with Jonin level opponents after training with him is because of how good.
Well, he got a shit ton of power creep.
Yes.
Post Jiraiya, he gets fucking Sage mode, which basically makes him immortal versus normal Shinobi. And then, because normal Shinobi can't keep up with Sage mode, the author's gotta add something stronger than that. And so we get the whole fourth ninja war, and Naruto's gotta go beyond Sage mode. And he's gotta go to Rakudo Senin Sage mode, where he's on fire for some reason.
For your story, set limits and stick to them.
And Isaiah did just mention the fourth ninja war, and it's straight up just power creep out the window. It's just a main character versus antagonist now, because everyone else
for
is
all
useless.
the problems it had, the Star Wars expanded universe, it did a really good job of keeping 99% of the characters relevant, because they said, okay, Luke Skywalker is the absolute top tier of Jedi. But even though he's the absolute top tier, other Jedi Masters can realistically compete with him.
Because of age.
Well, not just age, but areas of the Force where they're better than he is. Areas of the Force that they might have a specialty in.
Right.
And overall, the fact that Luke Skywalker, while he might have an edge on them, it's only an edge.
Right.
Can he do things others of them cannot? Absolutely. But there are other Jedi who can do things Luke Skywalker never possibly could. For instance, Corran Horn. The Horn family is ridiculously good at the mind trick. So good that he can make Luke Skywalker hallucinate. That's been shown.
Right. Well, I mean,
and
it's all been canceled now because of Disney.
Yes.
But yeah, we get the point. But anyway, to bring it all on back to the original, to the story here, my complaints with this whole. What's probably gonna happen is Harry's gonna be like, oh, you should read books, and Nora's gonna be like, oh, I hate reading books. Reading books is for savages and people who want the Hokage. And Harry's gonna be like, no, you should read books because that's how you become the Hokage. And then Naruto's gonna read a bunch of books and she'll be like, boom, I'm the Hokage now, bitches. I mean, obviously he's not gonna become the Hokage, but the power creep levels are basically gonna be Naruto is basically the Hokage now in terms of power.
This is a larger problem within the Naruto universe, like you pointed out. But like,
yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem I have with a lot of Naruto authors, and it's a reason why I see a lot of Naruto authors' stories die. I mean, I have so many stories in my favorite section, which is more or less my recommended section for stories to read. I have so many stories in my favorite section of dead Naruto stories, and it's not always because of, oh, the author found a job, oh, the author had a death in the family and just lost the, or the author stopped being interested in Naruto. No, a majority of the time, the dead Naruto stories I have in my favorite section, it's not because of any of those reasons. It's because the power creep got to the point where even the author was like, oh shit. He's gonna continue at this rate. Like, if I just suddenly cap him off for some reason, it's gonna sound extremely contrived. So he's gotta continue at this rate. But if he continues at this rate, at the rate I'm handling everything in the story, then it's basically just gonna be a raffle stomp. Because the way I've seen how authors handle the canon, in the story sometimes, specifically Naruto, is Naruto becomes absurdly powerful by the Zabuza arc, so he can show off and fight against Zabuza with all of his new powers and shit, and sometimes he wins, and sometimes it's a draw, but I rarely ever see stories where Naruto loses. Still, against Zabuza. It's almost always Naruto pushes Zabuza to the edge with his new non-canon powers, and then Haku comes in and saves the day with the whole, what the fuck are they called? The two long needles to the neck.
I don't know. But yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't know.
With the whole needles to the neck thing, and Zabuza looks dead, and everyone's like, oh, even though we should know better because we should have been taught this in the academy. Oh, wow, Zabuza's dead now. Let's let this shinobi who killed them take him away. It's like, look, I get Kakashi's supposed to be rusty. But like, how Hunter Nin operate seems to be a really freaking important thing that would be taught in the academy for ninja. Right? It's not like it's a complicated process. It's like, alright guys, today we're talking about Hunter Nin. Well, normally when they capture their subject, they kill them, cut off the head, burn the body, and take the head back as proof that they're dead. Lesson over.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, and especially with Zabuza, like, maybe if it had been some other ninja, it'd be like, look, I need to bring the head back as proof.
Yeah.
And I want to keep the body intact as long as possible to slow down the rot on the head or some garbage like that. Maybe we could have bought that. But it's Zabuza. He's one of the he's one of the special ed swordsmen. You could cut his head off.
Honestly, you wouldn't even need to cut his head off. You just need to present the sword, because there's no way in hell Zabuza's going to be like, yeah, just take my sword. No.
I was going to say, you could literally incinerate the body on the spot and just take the sword.
Are we going to read the story?
Maybe take his headband too.
Am I going to rank cry over Naruto canon for the rest of the night? Okay, look, Aren't you wanted a non-Ruby shit? Well, you're getting non-Ruby. We're talking about Harry Potter canon. We're talking about Naruto canon. We're talking about Naruto fanon. We're talking about Harry Potter fanon. Because Harry Potter fanon suffers from this exact same shit. This is, unless you came here for something else, unless you want shit fix, I'll give you a fucking shit fix, okay? You know what? This story is crap. It's dumb. It's stupid. It's overly contrived because apparently Harry Potter comes in here and solves all the problems and falls in love with Kakashi, and she grants Naruto's wishes, and the author has a Tumblr page. Okay, whoop-de-doo. Moving on. You want a shit fic? Let's go. Remember, you asked for this, Arn. The story we're now going to cover is father and daughter.
Oh,
Hunger
no.
Games, Lord of the Rings.
I know nothing about this story,
crossover.
But I saw the crossover, and I am already upset.
During individual assessment, Katniss learned something about herself and her sister Prim. Nothing is what it seems since they were little. Review this story. Okay, so the author here is actually asking you in the summary to review this story. So if
Review and comment.
Review and comment. So they are giving express permission, people, to comment and review on their story. So I expect you all to do nothing. And if you do anything more than nothing, I will be surprised.
However, we will once again reiterate that you remain civil.
I mean, they're asking for comments. Look, they're asking for comments. If it's just like, oh, I want reviews, then I'd be like, all right, guys, remain civil, give them an actual
Sneaky,
review.
It doesn't matter. They're asking for reviews and comments. We, the people running this show, are going to tell you to remain civil.
Yeah,
You have no control over what you do.
Yeah.
However,
okay,
we are going to tell you, don't show up just to insult them.
I mean,
because even if you want to just insult them,
technically speaking, you
but
could
don't do
show
that
up to just
because
insult
that's
them.
not constructive.
No, they are technically asking for comments as well as reviews. So technically speaking, we're required to tell you to review them.
I'm not telling you to lie. I'm not telling
anyone
to lie, Art. I'm telling you to be civil about it.
Better honesty than lies. Yes, be honest with them. After we have all read this story, I want you to all review them and be absolutely honest with them. Do not taunt them, do not insult them. Just be as honest as possible with your opinion of their story. If the insults happen during the honesty, well, that's beyond my control.
And like I said, beyond our control, yes, but we reiterate that we're not telling you to do that, and we don't support that.
He reiterates. I am too short to care. Chapter 1. Watched. I stood underneath the training center for the tributes parade. Nerves racked inside of me. Sina, my stylist, promised the fire for my custom would be synthetic, but I have the fear that I would be burned alive. I looked around to the room because someone is watching me. I
looked around to room.
Yes, to room. I had to be mistaken since no one was paying attention to me. Peter! The male tribute from my district walked up to our chariot in the same outfit as me. Sina and Peter, stylist, followed him. I could see the flames in Sina's hands. Like I had said, you have nothing to worry about, he said. My mind fought to keep the fear of being burned alive present in my mind. I stepped onto the chariot. Something warm touched my back. Cena had just ignited me. I kept my fear down because I did not want to look weak. And I wanted to survive this. I could not appear weak and helpless. The cheering crowd screamed as the chariot from District 1 left to start the tributes parade. The horses, pulling the chariot, trotted to the end that leads out into the streets of the capital. It would not be long till we joined the others on the way to the city circle for the presidential welcome. "Are you ready?" Peter asked. "Yes, I just hope this suit holds up," as I said as we left the room. The crowds bubbled over with excitement as we rode out. After all, a tribute on fire has never been seen before in the tributes parade. My heart raced with the excitement of this. I didn't know what to do at this point. Peach's hand wrapped around me. Oh God.
Okay, so
Oh God.
just a small point of order. My heart rate raced with the excitement of this. That is redundant and is not required in English. We don't need to know that the rate of your heart has increased because you're telling us that your heart is racing.
Yes.
Therefore, it is assumed that your heart rate has gone up.
I just want to point out that Peter's hand is apparently a fucking mutation and is capable of wrapping around someone.
No. In this case, I'm pretty sure it's referring to like wrapping around the waist.
Yes, they wrapped the arm around the waist. That's what you're supposed to say. You're supposed to say Peter's arm wrapped around me.
Yes.
Instead, they said Peter's hand. So all I'm imagining is Peter having a really fucking enormous hand. In which he just
I can totally see it.
Grabs
like
Katniss.
Mr. Fantastic style, just wrapping around her.
He just grabs Katniss with one hand. And Katniss is like, ew, no. Don't stop. Peter!
Nine!
Remove your hand from my person! Your grotesque mutant hand! Burn the mutant.
Anyway, moving on. No, we can't burn the mutant. The mutant's already on fire. The fire isn't working.
They will love it, he whispered to me. I gave in as our hands embraced. The interlocked hands flung into the air as we continued moving. I knew this could get us into trouble later. This single jester signified that we were one and that we were a team. None of the other tributes did this. Peter had singled us out. All of the horses...
Yeah, because the whole being on fire for the first time hadn't singled you out. That hadn't happened.
Of course not. The horses did a single lap around the city circle. I espied President Snow standing up to walk to his podium. He was still the same old man that I had seen through these games since I was little. I used to be frightened of him, but now I am terrified of him. Welcome, he greeted us. Welcome to the Tributes Parade for the 74th Annual Hunger Games.
You're all gonna die!
Commensurate.
Commensurate? I mean, commensurate, I think
I realize what they're trying to say, but I'm thinking they're spelling it wrong.
Well, check Google.
Yeah, no, they are wrong. They are using the spelling for an object of the same size.
Huh. Well, there we go. Anyway, with that mystery resolved, moving on.
Commiserate.
Well, commiserate is to be like, yes, everything's terrible.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to find the word they meant. Yeah, no, that's not the word we're looking for.
Commensurate, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, let's just move on.
We all understand. Yes, so Snow said, we are here to compare the sizes.
Oh boy, you know what? I suddenly remembered I have to go be somewhere else and not read this terrible fiction if it's going the way I think it is.
To commensurate this occasion, I will read the charter of the game. The charter is not new to me or for anyone who grew up here. I am glad that I volunteered so that my sister could live. I caught Snow. This is a boring ass story. I caught Snow looking at me near the end of the reading. When he finished, the chariots turned to go back to the tribute center. What could I have done to gain his attention? I was confused. It couldn't have been illegally poaching in the woods, or he would have arrested me by now. Effie was ecstatic with pride by the parade. Hey, Mitch stood there not saying a word. I looked around again. This time I could see who was watching me. The tributes from districts 1, 2, 4. All the careers haunted my every move. I swore that they weren't the only ones watching me. Hey, Mitch saw this also, and as a result, he led us to our floor in the training center. I continue to sense someone was watching me. I buried those feelings down, not wanting to look weak. As the sun rose, I got out of bed. All through the night, every little noise kept me up. The table on the balcony was bare when I arrived. As I leaned on the balcony, a summer morning breeze rustled through the few trees that they had. My thoughts turned to my sister and my mother. What did they think of all this? Knowing Prim, she's curled up next to Mom right now, after the nightmare she must have of me dying. I had to tell someone what was going on. I did not know who to turn to for help. Back home, I would have discussed with my best friend Gail, but he isn't here with me now. My mentor and Peter both seemed reasonable, but I couldn't decide. I knew I should not tell Effie because she would not understand. Footsteps sounded from behind me. Early Bird gripped Hamish as he walked up.
It's griped, not gripped.
No, that's gripped. Because griped is one pay, right?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Wait, hold on. Let's Google this.
I'm pretty sure you are correct.
Yeah, no, grip. 2 P's is in fact to grip in the past tense.
Like I said, I did change my opinion. I was like, yes,
Yeah,
you are correct.
I know. I just wanted to
I
make
can only
sure.
assume the author meant griped.
Everything is mildly numb right now, so yes, I had to make sure. Damn it, Sneaky. When you pick shit fics, at least pick something interesting. Now, Arn, we have yet to reach the legless makeout section. That's how these stories turn out. That's exactly why I'd rather move on. Yeah, we're about halfway into the story. Don't worry, we'll get out of here now and on to the next shit fic.
Just keep going.
Blah 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 blah. I think people are watching me. Blah 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 blah. Threaten. Blah blah blah. I'm a hunter. I'm good at avoiding traps. Blah blah blah. Don't tell PETA. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Nothing really important. Meet me on the roof. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Story. Chapter over.
And not even anything to do with Legolas. I'm disappointed. We should come back to this on Tuesday.
No.
No, we should.
No. Here's another one because you asked for shit fics that aren't Ruby.
And never let it be said that we won't hold up our end of a bargain.
Well, I never made no bargains. However, I am willing to acquiesce to the audience's demands.
You're a benevolent god, aren't you?
No Ruby and shit fics. So here we go with a Lord of the Rings shit fic, as you so eloquently put it earlier.
Oh, 2 Lord of the Rings in the row. Although, to be fair, there was absolutely 0 Lord of the Rings the last one, so.
Faces Beneath the Hoods. First book. A small elf named Faye lived in the Shire with the hobbits. She realizes she is different from the others, but does not think much of it.
No, they were not elves. They're also not small elves.
It isn't until she goes to Rivendell and joins the Fellowship as the 10th Walker. Her past unfolds before her. Nightmares from her past haunt her as she starts to find the truth of why she ended up in the Shire. Please review this story, says the author, not to me. So, I encourage everyone to review this story as accurately and as, what's the word I'm looking for?
Politely as possible.
Not even politely. I want you to review this story as accurately and as honestly as possible. You leave off the insults because they aren't asking for comments, but I'm sure you can find a way to say their writing is crap, because it probably will be.
Yeah, and you can just politely say, yeah, your writing really isn't that good. Here are suggestions on how to fix it.
This!
Because when they ask for a review, the main purpose of the review
is supposed to be for
good
constructive
story.
criticism, yes indeed. Yeah.
And that's what we want you to do.
This,
if you do anything at all,
is an author's note of exceptionally large proportion. Hey guys, before you start this story, you must know a few things.
And I'm immediately saying that this is crap.
This is an AU in which there are the existence of people called the Black Assassins who live throughout the Middle-earth protecting towns from evil. They know every language in existence, and the assassin leader, when an assassin leader passes away, they all gather and sing a song that is a mixture of the 3 main languages of the world. Their current leader is an elf named Phaedra.
That's it. Put on the edge alert right now.
Excellent! She is a highly skilled.
I told you to put it on. Yeah, well, Arn, you wanted garbage. Here's your garbage.
Is the main OC Phaedra? I think they are.
Of course it is.
Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh. Okay. She is a highly skilled in every weapon in existence, but she prefers to use the sword. It's an elven blade with a golden spiral. If you unsheath the blade, there's more words on it. It was magically made so only the true leader of the Order of Assassins could wield it.
Yeah, A, not how that works. B, do you understand? Does this author understand how magic works in Lord of the Rings? The answer to that is no, they don't. And magic weapons are impossible to make anymore. Like, literally no one can do it.
Yeah, wasn't Valor involved in that?
I don't think, like, yes, they were involved, but, like, the ones who chiefly made them were the men. Before it was men and elves working together before the world became Middle-earth. That's the important bit. Before it became Middle-earth.
That's where the Orc Slayer and all those blades came from, right?
Yes. I was going to say, I want to point out some of the most renowned magic weapons in the Lord of the Rings universe. They are essentially masterwork weapons that also happen to glow when enemies are nearby. That's what some of the most powerful magic weapons in the world do.
Yeah. Okay.
That aren't like horrible cursed
It gets
items
worse,
by the
but
forces of
it gets
darkness.
worse. But in case anyone was wondering, it gets worse because on this podcast, it always gets worse, and I have stayed true to that.
Oh, you know what?
Saying.
Isley raises a good point as well. What do they mean by Elvish? Because there's
Yeah.
at least 3 varieties of Elvish.
It means Elvish.
Which is a good point.
Because I have never, as a Lord of the Rings author, have never ever actually read Lord of the Rings, and therefore I don't know. I only saw the movies, says the author. I didn't realize there was more forms
But
of
even
Elvish.
the movies mention the existence of multiple kinds of elves.
I'm a retard, says the author. You must excuse my problems. Anyway, let's get back into it. To the leader, it was lighter than a feather. To others, it weighed a full ton, depending on the goodness of their heart. If someone's heart was full of good, they could hold the sword for a while. But if it was dark, they could only hold the sword for a few seconds. An assassin,
Not how any of that works in Lord of the Rings
an
at all.
assassin is not chosen by offspring or blood. An assassin leader is chosen by the next reigning leader. And there has never been a time where an assassin leader died without their chosen one. The sword is magical and is able to call all assassin when the leader calls.
Are you kidding me? This is the most magic-ass thing that's ever existed in Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Not even the One Ring is as good as this thing, yo.
Yes. Literally the most magic sword to have ever existed. One could say. I don't know about you, but I think summoning an army is pretty over fucking powered. Anyway.
You want to know? There was one other guy who could summon an army out of nowhere in Lord of the Rings. One other guy. And he got to do that once. Once. And that was only because, like, 500 years ago, a bunch of people were assholes who didn't show up when they were supposed to, and they got cursed.
Yep. Anyway. Marching on ahead. An assassin is not chosen. The assassins wore a necklace that had a crystal with a golden wire wrapped around it and hung on a golden chain. A small dagger was hidden in the side of the leader's sword. Or was it a gun as well? What the fuck are we in, Ruby?
Sorry, Arn, you didn't want us to read Ruby tonight, but it looks like we ended up in Ruby anyway.
Looks like
not
we're
our fault.
fucking in Ruby anyway.
We
He
tried.
or she would take it out and hold the necklace in front of them. They would then spin the dagger around the necklace, chanting what they wanted the others to hear in Elvish. Then the assassin leader would point the dagger at the sky, and a burst of light would shoot from the dagger, fading immediately after it explodes like a firework in the sky. After the message is sent, the assassins across Middle-earth will receive this message. After a few minutes, the necklaces will glow and stand in front of their faces, saying the message what the leader spoke into their minds.
All right. First of all, you weren't joking about this being an exceptionally long author. This is an obscenely long author's note.
This is actually, the first chapter is just the author's note, and I don't want to read beyond it.
Yeah, no, we'll read just the author's note, because that's all we need to know about this heap of trash.
Oh boy, oh boy. After the message is sent, the assembly, they would immediately leave and head to the place the leader had called them to. So back to Phaedra. Gandalf sends her on a quest with the dwarves of Erebor to reclaim their homeland because she has lost hers from Azog as well.
Oh, good. This is some idiot who watched the movies and is actually paying attention to the movie.
Is the necklace also the sword of Thundara and is chanting thunder, 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 assassins ho by any chance? It might entirely be possible. Anyway, as I was saying, her and Thorin's kingdoms were the one elven and dwarven kingdoms that actually got along. Of course they got along, because otherwise the author wouldn't have any reason to romance people. They were first forced to be wed until Phaedra's hometown was destroyed, as well as Thorin's. They became friends at the end of Unwritten Destiny 1, but nothing more. Wait, there's more stories than this?
Yeah, apparently, this is not the first one, I guess.
Oh god. Phaedra has a little sister named Chara and a brother named Farron. Farron was the captain of the guard in Rivendell, and Tara is the healer. Her little sister Tara fell in love with the dwarf Kili, and they ended up having a private relationship behind Thorin's back. Tara ends up joining the company after Phaedra almost died in the goblin tunnels. Had Farron and his wife Leah not rescued her. At the end of Unwritten Destiny 3, Jesus Christ! Tara and Kili tell about the relationship to others who are glum to even congratulate them, as Thorin was forcing them not to fight the war. At the very end, Kili ends up dying and leaving Tara on her own. Farron is Phaedra's older brother and ends up staying in Rivendell. Phaedra runs off to risk her life every day. He married a mortal woman named Leah, who is of the Dundane. They have 3 children, Athlon, Acheron, and Ampharos, and Lothria.
That last one, is that like Lothric? Is that the third child of Lothric that we didn't hear about at the end of Dark Souls 3?
Look, I'm drunk, but I'm pretty sure that's 4 children, not 3.
Huh?
Yeah, Ephemera, Echloran, Amthros, and Lothria. That is 4, not 3. The author is clearly more drunk than I am. I know Lothriel is actually the cousin of Boromir and Faramir, but in this story, she's not cousins with them, but with Aragon. Ephemera is actually went to Mirkwood to be guard, but Etrion went to teach sword fighting in the assassin hideouts. Ampharos went to learn healing magic at Lothrion, and Lothriel went to be a ranger with Aragorn. Both Farron and Leah fought in the last battle and survived. Phaedra, at the end of the battle, ended up taking Azog's arm blade stabbed towards Thorin. She is stabbed in the stomach and is thrown across the lake, as is Thorin, for some unexplainable reason. She tells him to kill Zog for her before dying in his lap. There's another elf in the Hobbit story I wrote, an elf by the name of Amara. She was very energetic and
stop it.
found the smallest things funny. Whenever she was with Phaedra, it was usually to lighten the mood. She is married to Legolas and ends up becoming pregnant. But during the war, she took the death of Phaedra just as hard as Farron did. Tara was mourning for Gilly and did not know Phaedra was dead until the funeral. Her and Legolas ride away to seek out the Dundane and start a new adventure. I hope you guys like the upcoming story. Please review it.
No. Leave. Just let's go. It's time to end the show. Let me die. Let me die in peace, damn you.
Oh no. Oh, this author.
What do you owe knowing?
Riding with confidence. The horse land. Horses and their owners experience life with the greatest horse celebrity of all time. But when things start to occur, the evidence points that the newcomers, not long afterwards, jealousy breaks out between the two groups. Will the kids and horses befriend the celebrities, or will war break out between the two groups? I'm reading this author's stories.
No. Go home. Go to sleep. Get a drink.
Love is in the air, My Little Pony. In the human world, Rainbow Dash and Soren have been friends since elementary school, but what will happen when their friendship turns into something more? I really hope they're of age for that. Just saying. Oh, look, we're not in enough time to start a new story, but we're still not at that 2-hour limit that I set ourselves at. So, you know, I just want to be... I want to show the world what else this author has written, you know?
No.
Then there is the Unwritten Destiny series, which eventually leads into Faces Beneath the Hood. So the Unwritten Destiny series is part of The Hobbit. And the first one says, Gandalf brings the help of an elven assassin on the quest. Many secrets and memories are uncovered during the long journey. New friends are created and some are lost. Some friendships even go past friends. Please review. Unwritten Destinies 2. Phaedra has finally received the trust of Thor and Oakenshield. She must now fight an endless battle of her past, as well as keeping her little sister safe. They continue on to the journey, meeting new faces and battling the darkness for survival, as well as other relationships grow. Please review.
Please stop. Please, I'm just getting angrier and angrier the more you read.
Unwritten Destinies 3, and then we will leave.
Bastard.
The dragon is dead! The dwarves are left in a mountain piled with gold, with the exception of Bilbo, Phaedra, Tara. Lake Town is gone by the fires of smog. War is coming, and there's little chance any will survive, even with the help of Iron Hills and Mirkwood. Though Phaedra may have another trick up her sleeve, surprising everyone yet again. Please review. Apparently, and then she has I'm guessing it's a she at this point. She has a Percy Jackson series as well. And so we reread Faces Beneath the Hoods. That's a completed story at 24,000 words and 20 chapters. This is Beyond the Hoods, which is the sequel to the story we read. Second story, Faye, now knowing most of her past, has set off on another dangerous and heroic journey. Her curiosity now has its full focus on those hooded people. When she learns more about them from a person who despises them, she too grows to hate them. Little did she know that they have actually been watching and protecting her since the beginning. Please review. Iramir times Lothriel and Legolas times OC. Now that we have finished that abomination of an author, an author's note summary of a story, I thank you all for showing up today, whether you are here live or you are here in the recording. I appreciate you all if you did make it this far. As always, we will be streaming this podcast at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Tuesdays and Fridays. And if you wish to catch us live, you better come to us at those times on Twitch. If you are fine watching the recordings of it, you can always catch us on YouTube, which is linked in the panels down below if you're on Twitch, or if you are on YouTube, well, you're already there, aren't you? Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the second episode of Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9000, episode 2. And 9001, I should say.
Yeah, that's right. We changed our branding.
Yes, and look at that. Look at that expert editing to my previous picture. There's now a what now?
So skilled.
Yes, indeed. I believe highly of myself. Anyway, as I was saying, thank you all for being here. Spread it to your family, your friends, your co-workers, people you hate. Spread the word out. Because I have a couple people who may or may not be donating at some point in time some CD keys to some giveaways. So if anyone's interested in those giveaways, you should probably tell your friends. So we can all benefit from this. Me, I get more people to look at this. You guys get more interaction. And the people who win get free games. Everyone wins. Anyway, as always, thank you for coming. There is always more, and it always gets worse. See you next time.